cause you say I'm misandristic. Slide this way, I'm getting my dick lit. Rob my wave, I command the stick shift. Not my day, can't hang the bitches. Toss my face like touchdown pick six. Conversations I can't deal with. Obligations I don't feel it. Hey, rob my bank with fatherless children. Need support, let them be with him. Like skin spank, I give her discipline. Like my bank, that shit type stink. I'm like the tank on the battlefield. I'll be moving wrong and shit.
No, you're just the only person I speak to that speaks like me.
That's a Rebel what?
This is a Canon 90. Yeah, I got everything. I got all the hookups.
You know the wide angle, bro?
What?
Wide angle?
You said fire angle?
Wide angle.
Oh, wide angle? Yeah, it's at a wide angle right now.
That's the wide angle right there?
Yeah, this is as far as it goes, but the further lens I have, I can get more of it.
Right.
But, I work with what I got.
I saw that fat ass ring light you got upstairs. Would you want to use like lighting or is this cool all like this?
We'll
down here.
decide. When we get back in the house, we could use some lighting.
All right.
Yeah, since we're about to go out.
Yeah.
Seems like it's snowy.
I'll let you get ready and shit.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all ready? Yeah, what's up? Okay. Hold on, what did I say yesterday? I said cheesesteak, and what else did I say?
Stop. I'll be back. I'm grabbing a whip and gloves.
Can you bring me the Patagonia?
Can I bring you that?
Yeah. I looked on the bed.
I was about to put that bitch on.
Oh, alright, never mind then. You good.
Oh, you good? I got a Nike Tech windbreaker.
Do you know where this whiskey is? Where you said the cheesesteak spot is at?
Yeah, the cheesesteak spot is that way. You gotta go to a quarter store.
That way.
If you gotta go to a quarter store, you go to a quarter store. You gotta go to the cheesesteak.
Which one is closer?
Cheesesteaks? Come on.
Okay.
Nigga, I'm hungry, bro. You over there cooking. My stomach started talking.
What do you usually get on your cheesesteak?
First of all, what you have to get is salt, pepper, ketchup.
Salt, pepper, ketchup.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if you're not tripping and you saying, you know what I mean, and you fuck with mayo and shit, then you get the mayo too. And the mayo, you gotta put the mayo on the bread. You know what I mean? Yeah, the mayo has to be on the bread. For sure.
Now I've heard that salt, pepper, ketchup is like a one word. Like they say it like one word. Is that factual?
Fried onion in there too. The fried onions, the salt, pepper, ketchup, fried onions.
Oh yeah, fried onions. Nah, that's another default. I'll tell you what they don't do though. They don't do fucking bell peppers. We don't do that shit. I don't know why. That's like a staple everywhere else. So nobody do that shit. Fried onions, bro. Fried or raw. You can do fried or raw. Oh, now the cheese too. So now nowadays, and it's because of Geno's and Pat's, bro. It's because of Geno's and Pat's. They started letting it be okay to do cheese whiz, bro. Ain't no real fucking Philly nigga doing cheese whiz on the fucking cheesesteak, bro. I mean, nowadays they are or whatever, but again, that wasn't always the case. Yeah, American, you feel me? Provolone. I even do pepper jack. Pepper jack is like.
Yeah, that's mine. That's usually what I would do. Pepper jack.
But yeah, man, they try so hard. Philly cheesesteak on the corner and shit. Philly cheesesteak trucks and shit. And then they be nasty as fuck. Like the bread be like this fat and the meat is it's not even, it's not. And then again, the bell pepper is no, bro, nah, no.
That's one thing I can say. Philly's very protective of their cheesesteaks. You have to get them.
You feel me? It's just all of these other niggas that be trying to commodify or commoditize. What's the word? Commodify?
Modify it?
Modify is
modify.
It's like make it seem more peculiar and particular than it is, nigga.
Right.
Cheesesteak, if it tastes good, it's a good joint. If it's not, it's a bad joint. Simple.
And that's the thing. Alright, right, so in college and shit, it's $16 for a goddamn cheesesteak. And I mean, even for just the sandwich, you don't even get no fries with it or nothing.
Oh wow.
Out here, it's $7. I mean, people have to see. I don't know. I haven't been here in a minute.
Yeah.
You say you less than 10? Yeah, and that's the thing. They run it up. They just run it up, and then it's not even authentic. It's not even. They don't have the rolls. They haven't rolled roaster rolls and shit. I used to work for that bakery, but the rolls, they don't have the right meat. It's not right.
Do shit every day, and the fact that you're my blood, and I know you got the same mindset as me as far as this shit's okay. Like, I wake up every day and I want to shoot vids and walk outside. I'm cool to try to go outside. I'm trying to do my shit. Those niggas have lives, they have jobs, they have plans, they have I know that you're here, you're doing the same shit, nigga. You don't have anything. You're just out here, nigga. Yeah, this is every day. Like I said, we gonna go back in and make this bitch official. We done got good at making and being content creator. It's literally just like the reason why my shit going so slow. As you can see it with the Navigate video last night, we trying to perfect this shit. I'm not trying to drop and have no visible curve of improvement in quality. Like, nigga, I stayed down and kept to myself until everything was ready. And to me, that's way more important than dropping as much as I can, as often as I can, just because I exist. Like, no, I want to exist in the correct light with the correct quality.
Right.
So that's the drone Pauline's I was telling you about. Basically, build a breakfast sandwich, nigga. However you want it. And then this is experience. Then I got the steaks.
Are you hungry? Did you eat?
No, I was gonna experience a cheesesteak with you guys.
Let's go.
Yeah.
The guy right here, bro. We came, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Like, this guy, nigga, this cat bad. Yeah, nigga, the cat bad. Nigga, can't do that to you, people. People don't know this, like, bro. Like, it's been years for me and this guy. It's crucial.
I think people would like diving into the, other personal aspects too.
Well, the thing is, like, the thing is, we don't even really know each other. Like, this is my blood, brother. But even though we don't really, like, know each other, like, we still are so much alike, you know what I mean? And so it's like, we've been needing to, like, combine and, like, see it in person and stuff, because we're both, like, adults. I'm talking about, we hadn't seen each other since kids, so it's like, and we've developed into, like, similar people type shit. You know what I mean?
Even taking different paths. I don't know if I say I don't know you, but I understand what you're saying as far as how long it's been in general necessity to feel each other's pulse and catch
Well, who's older? You're older?
This is so random.
Oh, it just said you were random?
Random.
Can you run the beat for me?
This jump.
Yeah. How could you say I'm misangistic? Slide this way, I'm getting my dick lit. Rob my wave, I command the stick shift. Not my day, can't hang with bitches. Toss my face like touchdown pick six. Conversations I can't deal with. Obligations I don't feel it. Rob my bank with fatherless children. Need support, let them be with him. Like skin spent, I give her discipline. Like my date, that shit type stink. I'm like the tank on the battlefield. Bring the skank out of Tyra Banks. Can't wipe no bitch, that's how I feel. I can't deal, make he be like a Happy Meal. Throwing the kicks for the boy in the seat. I have injuries to have to feel. 6-foot kid with an athlete bill. See the receipts of my acne bills. 223s, we strapped to kill. But I'm about up peace, I have to chill. Hit PD, get a problem done. I'll be hitting that math, my cash like a hill. I went to UK for this tune play in my city, get clapped for drill. And I still gotta do 4 more bars.
I still go to sleep, but I'm still gonna sleep because I have my pills. Yeah, how could I be misanderstood? Knowing your bitch is bad as sick. It sound like a map when I smash and hit it. Tell her relax, put it out and lick it. Make it expensive. That's the difference. I fuck on the bitch, I'ma keep my lips secrets. It ain't no hard feelings in this defense. I gotta guard my edge. Pop out with both for a walk through, better sit bad day. I need my friends sucked out. No when I call you, don't let it wait too long. It's gonna get cloudy. You need the best, don't doubt it. I wake up far from fortune. I don't take no breaks. Still put an F in the boy like Khalifa and do that for Taylor again.
Hey! Oh shit, you still got like 2 bars. That's the first nigga to call Suge Knight a bitch, dog.
This is a good debate.
Publicly, bro.
His ability to rap. I'm talking about he's not a top 5.
Said Snoop D double G.
He's not a top 5 rapper, absolutely fucking not. He wouldn't even say
Who's everybody's top 5? Since I got
That's
it on
always
cue.
such a hard question.
It
My
is
top
a hard-
2 are Big Pun and Eminem.
Big Pun, Eminem. Eminem is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, so
Both of them, yeah.
Biggie number 1 for Biggie.
Biggie number 1.
Yes. He said Biggie? Fuck yeah. Oh, you just ripped it. Oh shit. Oh,
You already know who I think is the best rap. Like we're talking about like the best rappers.
I mean, it's there's no. I mean, it's in your.
We're not talking about greatest based off sales or that. Like the best rapper. They're the best rapper.
Yeah.
Well, you have to base it off something, and if you want to base it off sales, or you can base it off skill.
Yeah, I feel like it should be based off skill.
Okay, if you're basing it
I
off.
feel like greater is like the sales and not confidence.
So then, if you're basing it off skills instead of accolades, then who is the top 5?
Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne.
No, because I had to go back to Wayne. No,
I just want to hear everybody's pick. I just want to hear everybody's number 1.
Yeah, that's a good.
I'm still going Biggie.
Right. First Biggie. Said.
You go Wayne too?
Who?
Did you say you're going Wayne too?
Now my number 1 is a tie between 2 people, but I gotta say I gotta say Big Pun. Big Pun is like he has to be number 1 probably.
Mine is Youngboy. I'm not gonna lie.
Young boy,
I've listened to too much of that nigga's music to have a different opinion.
like NBA young boy.
Mm-hmm.
I have never heard that.
Yeah, bro.
That's somebody's number 1.
That nigga can rap, bro. And he says shit that's like,
Yeah, he can. He really can.
like my brain, like certain thoughts that I have that I can't be put, that I don't know how to put into words, or that I never have just said out of my mouth. This nigga would say them in song. He was like, I'm one of the greatest to ever do it. Tell me why your favorite rapper so fake influence. Steady telling you he gonna do shit that he never wasn't gonna do. That's the Mandela effect. Like he just be saying certain shit that's like nigga, like real, like you mean certain shit, nigga.
First of all, it's your boy, ZZ. Firstborn shit. Ascidzz. Despues. Okay. ¿Cómo estás? I'm naming all their names. Anyway, you know we're in Philly right now. 215 shit, you know. It's been a minute since I've been back home, man. You know, and I'm excited. I'm excited. We're just shooting some shit here, you know, with Kid Uzumaki himself, alright? And yeah, I guess we're having an interview.
Yeah.
So enjoy this, I guess. You know, I don't like to be seen by y'all motherfuckers.
You what can you tell us about your upcoming project?
Yeah, so I mean, throughout all of this time, I've been working on 6 albums, and so we're working on the first one right now called The Stomach. At least that's the working title for it. And but what I have coming up is the single called Getting Rich, and yeah, man, it's one of the more exciting songs of the album, and you know, it really talks about how I've been improving myself, you know, steadily over time. You know what I mean? Like, being rich it means a multitude of things. You know, obviously, monetary sustenance feels good, but also getting rich on knowledge, getting rich on, you know, things that are important to you, beneficial to you and stuff, you know?
Absolutely. What inspired you to come up with the track, and you know, what undertones do you have going into it?
What you mean? Like I said, it's one of the hyper songs. Like it's definitely more exciting. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like a like get everybody definitely a show. I would love to perform this song live, but you know, it's.
I love you, nigga. Alright, I'm talking to you.
I love you too, bro. Damn, I thought you already did. That's crazy. Yeah, so like I said, it's more exciting. Like this is definitely something that like live will go off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Being in, like you said, being in California, has that added to your sound or your musical intelligence by producing this track?
You know, what's interesting is part of that question is unfair in my eyes, because you know you're supposed to grow, you're supposed to progress, you're supposed to be productive in the things that you're doing. and be doing different things, whether you feel like those things are satisfactory or not. And so I do know that I have been growing. I mean, after all, you know, I've been through so much more than just, oh, I moved to LA.
Yeah.
You feel me? And so it's like, so I've been going through, you know, my own processes and stuff like that have influenced my way for sure. Now, to more directly answer that question, I would say that fuck yeah, because I mean, come on, like, remember, I'm a producer first. So being a producer first, you know, I'm also working with other artists. And that's the thing, like that LA bounce and shit, like that's really their sound. Like that's really what they want, you know what I mean? And they don't care that it all sounds the same and shit. Because the reality is, not all of it does sound the same, but it does sound the same. Like it's like, you know, when you're listening to some West Coast shit, you know what I mean? And yeah, bro. So has it played a factor into it? Yes, because I've like gone through and like imitated some of those songs or like made my own bounces, West Coast bounces and stuff like that. You know, but overall, like I said, I think it's unfair because we're naturally growing people, and yes, we're going to be influenced by external and internal sources. You know.
Speaking of growing, is there anything that you felt like you wanted to prove differently to your audience by your upcoming album?
See, I have to pause because I don't like that question. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I don't like that question is because I don't think I have to prove anything to my audience. You know what I mean? Like, that's part of why I deleted my Instagram. That's the main reason why I deleted my Instagram and like all my social media. Because like, I don't have anything to prove to my audience. If anything, you know, I know that you love to see me growing. I love, you know, you love to see me. You love to see me like getting further and getting more and more beyond. You know, showing y'all new stuff. You know, because this is what we're doing is really new. Like we're really cultivating a new culture, a new sound. Like, you know, this is real. And so, but like I said, you don't want to hear from me every day. Like, bro, you don't want to hear from me every day. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we've been doing this social media thing wrong. I feel like we've been doing this whole, you know, seeking validation thing wrong. And I'm not attached to it at all. So like I said, I don't feel like I have anything to prove to my audience. You know what I'm saying? People fuck with it, people don't. You know what I mean? The last I know, we did 8,000 in 6 months. You know what I'm saying? And that's because of y'all. Like, that's nuts to me. You know what I'm saying? And that's hard work. And again, that's putting something out there and being like, yo, y'all like it, y'all like it. If y'all don't. But this shit is where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Like, and yeah, I appreciate people who have stuck by me, you know, throughout that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
to go off of that, the reason I ask is there's people of course, in the music industry that have certain purposes as to why they do it, and it seems to me that you've already learned that what you do is because you genuinely like it. So, do you know how you already started to forge that mentality to get to where you're at?
See, really, I think that families, parents, the people who raise humans into being who they are, have a very strong responsibility in that early on, because you know you can pay attention to a child and you can find the things that they're interested in. You know, all this, you know, they like to build, or you know, they're doing art, or like they're writing very soon, doing puzzles, or like whatever the case may be. And you can begin to like steer them more in those directions to see, okay, truly how far those interests go. And you know what you're doing is you're helping cultivate, you know, an organism. So you're cultivating an organism, you know, that is, you know, so our external and internal exposures, they define our world. You know what I mean? Like we really all live in our own individual worlds. And so so what I'm getting to is that I found my blessing very early, you know. I got a guitar at the age of 7 by my great aunt. It was just something she just decided to do. You know, I've always loved music, but you know, for her to buy me an electric guitar, and yeah, bro, like just took it out immediately, like bad to the bone, and we're just like jamming together and stuff like that. And I was like, I knew like this is what I want to do, you know. And then throughout my life, throughout my growth, I've had so many moments where I've noticed. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, like this is like, yeah, it's possible. Like I can really do this. Like, I can really delve into it. So like I said, it's really about finding your purpose is really an individual journey. You know what I'm saying? Like nobody can tell you what like you just feel that. And so like first of all, people have to be allowed the space to do that. You know what I mean? Like as a parent, first of all, you and your baby can't even talk yet, for real. So it's like it's like that kind of that distance, but you're paying attention though. You know what I mean? There's that responsibility, and so that's forging that. Like I said, forging that mindset. It comes from finding your blessing, knowing what it is, or at least knowing where to go, like paying attention to yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then just like I said, paying attention and continuing to grow and you know what I'm saying, developing that.
Yeah. One of the questions I was always interested in knowing was that a lot of times, music is an incubation for passion and, real life experiences just put on to a track, whatsoever. So, what would you say you've found, how you've used music as a way to express, what you've gone through, what you feel on a daily basis, and how that's been carried on to this point.
Well, actually, I feel like all that part is natural.
Yeah.
Like all of that, like even when you go through and you listen to other rappers and all of that shit, like they're talking about the shit that they're just thinking about or whatever, like in those moments or like things that go on throughout the days and all of that. Like it's completely natural, I mean, it's kind of funny. Like that's part of the reason why we think it's so weird that other people say they can't rap or like they can't dance or like they can't draw, because it's like nigga just do it, you know what I mean? And so what I'm saying is that I feel like it's just a natural thing. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't, like talking about my day-to-day stuff, and that's why it's so hurtful, or I really don't want to use that word. That's not really the word that I'm looking for. But when people will like listen to like because you're a local artist, and then it's like, you know what I'm saying, people are you're going through the things that local artists go through, you know what I mean, and people are like taking your lyrics seriously, like but not seriously personally. Like I think you should take what I'm saying seriously. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking about real shit. Most of like I talk about life things. You know what I'm saying? I talk about heavenly things. I talk about all kinds of like things that I feel like we can talk about and understand together. But at the end of the day, it's like it's not for people to be taken personally. If anything, it's like, what's the intent of the artist? Like what's the artist's intent? What's this person's intent? Like if I look at 21 Savage, right? 21 Savage, straight violence, like straight murder, straight just, you know what I mean? Like he's trying to uphold like the image of like, I'm a violent person, you don't want to fuck with me, blah blah blah. That's like it. That's his image. That's his MO. Kendrick Lamar, I feel like with Kendrick Lamar, he wears the crown and he feels the weight of the world, but he wants to be sure, again, that like people belong. Like he wants to be sure that like it goes so much deeper for Kendrick in terms of like what he thinks about humanity and he his actual faith in humanity, you know what I mean, and he's trying to get everybody to see. So like different artists, like you can see their intent, and it's like reasons why we fuck with them, you know what I mean? And like but as a local artist, right, it's a lot harder to be able to sum it down to that image and shit. You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh no, I see this nigga, he walks by my house, like we just talked the other day about whatever we just talked about in that bar that he just said or whatever. And it's like, bro, it's like it's not even like that. It's like if anything, it's like, okay, wow, like, you know what I'm saying? Like boom boom boom. So maybe that's the plight of being a lyrical rapper, of being somebody who, like, you know what I'm saying? But again, it is possible, but it is not personal. You know what I'm saying? Like it's never personal. It's like, it's just funny how these different things intertwine. We are here on this earth together. You know what I mean? Like that is a blessing. Why should we not treat each other better? How could I say people aren't treating each other well, and then people don't treat me well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But anyway, yeah, it's a natural thing to talk about day-to-day stuff.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of fans from the Lancaster region, you know, wanted to know. So, of course, it's been nearly 3 years since the MU cypher that you participated in, and was there anything about that day that you felt really, you know, helped you, or, you know, something about it that made you feel like you belong in what you're doing? You know, how did that, just describe that feeling and that day about for you?
Well, first and foremost, yeah, you know, I was invited to the cypher. I didn't really know Uzumaki or Bama. I didn't know any of these guys, for real. But you know, I was invited. They invited me down. Excuse me. Also, mind you, what is it, like 2 hours away or something like that? Like, it's far as hell. And like, I had a ride, but like my ride bailed on me at last minute or whatever. And I think, were you able to give me a ride, bro?
No, I actually let you sleep in my room.
No, I know you let me sleep in your room, but I don't remember how the hell I wound up getting there that night. Somebody like was able to hook me up with some person to get me over there, and it was late, bro. And yeah, like, so that made me feel like I belonged. You know what I mean? That somebody was willing to take me. You know what I mean? That somebody was like taking me seriously and being like, okay, boom. Secondly, it was like I said, like I got there. I mean, we had already discussed this beforehand. You know what I mean? But like they opened their house to me. You know what I'm saying? They allowed me to, you know, stay in there and stuff like that. Because the reality is, at that time, you said 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
3 years ago, that was right before I got kicked out. Like, that was right before, you know, I really became homeless, and I was struggling at that time, bro. Like, I didn't have anything. You know what I mean? So like, you know, they you know, again, so that made me feel like I belonged and stuff like that. You know, they let me stay at their house, and then. You know, and then just being there, like, you know, I don't really think people understand, you know, like, throughout all of the different passions, you know, like, it really takes time, you know what I mean? Like, doing interviews, setting up videos and all that stuff, like setting up lighting and stuff, like, these things can take 2, 3 hour setups or whatever it can take, like, just doing that. I'm talking about, like, everybody's there, actors are there, whatever, the artists are there, whatever you want to say, but they're not shooting yet. You know, because like, and all of these things take time, and so it's like, so why do you need to see every moment of my life? You know what I'm saying? Why do you need to see every single song that I'm making, regardless of if I know that it's hot? You know what I'm saying? Because you'll know that it's hot. You'll be the one to decide when the time comes. But like I said, it's the time. Like it's like it's this level of appreciation. So like. Yeah, I'd never been on a set like that before. That was like my first like set, you know what I mean? There at Millersville, right? Millersville? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, man, Bamali, you know, Uzumaki, you know, those guys, like, they were setting it up, green screen, you know what I'm saying, all of that, you know, or that was a black screen, but, you know, the lights and all of this, you know what I'm saying, boundaries and stuff, you know, and, you know, got to do a few run-throughs, and not even just that, but like, you know, my biggest question, right? Like, my biggest question I would say is, you know, do I belong here? You know, like, do God's children belong here? And one of the ways that question can be satisfied is by meeting other people who are like them or like him. And man, like, there were some talented people at that cypher, dude. Like, there were some extremely talented people at that cypher, and, you know, yeah, like, getting to exchange information and, you know, continue to, I mean, you know, a lot of people still be on their Hollywood shit and all of that, or like, you know, some people feel like they're too big for their britches, you know, to be able to have certain conversations regardless of, you know, trauma or whatever, but, so that's like a downside, but at the same time, you know, like I said, just getting to be in the presence of such divine power, you know what I'm saying, and knowing, yeah, I'm not the only fucking person out here who can do what I do, you know what I'm saying, you know.
Do you know, do you have a date on when the the project Relevant is going to come out?
So Relevant is set to come out in January. That's the date that we're working on. We're working in January right now, and yeah. So just be patient for that. I'm so shitty when it comes down to talking about my shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know, like I gotta work on that, I guess, or whatever. But I don't know. Like my thing is like, my music has always been the thing really to help people gravitate toward me. You know, like I've met so many people, or so many of the people who have like come into my life and like want, like, you know, girls or, you know, whatever. But you know, people, it's because they have seen me in my element. You know what I mean? Like I have been working so hard to become the person that I am today in terms of, you know, how, speaking, you know, to people, and like how, you know, being good at communication and stuff like that. You know, not being long-winded and like things of that nature. But you know, like I said, my normal regular human interactions, like trying to walk up to somebody and being like, hey, even up to this point, you know, is nowhere close to as powerful as, you know, people actually seem to like feel me, or want to have and display love for me by seeing me in my element with music, whether it be a show, whether it be hearing it, whether it be you know, in the studio, you know, ciphering, whatever, freestyling and shit, you know. So yeah, and that's always been interesting to me. And also I think that's how it kind of should be, you know. Like I said, like I don't really think real artists don't do this for other people. Like real artists don't do what they do for other people. They do it because it's like a burning. It's in them. Like it's like I gotta do this. You know, and that's just how I feel. Like I've never thought about quitting. I've never thought. If anything, it's like, God damn, I need to get these rhymes I'm getting in my head are nuts, bro. Or like these bars, like I just thought of like some witty shit from like something I'm watching or like something I'm doing. You know what I mean? And it's like, I gotta put that down. You know what I'm saying? I gotta use that, or you know, whatever the case may be, or you know, boom. Or even with the production, it's like I'm getting sound ideas in my head and stuff. Or like I love to be able to see how I can use new sounds, buy new sounds, collect new sounds, record new sounds, you know, and how I can use them in my music. And yeah, you know, like I said, it's crucial. Like it's just crucial. There's been an overwhelming lack of respect that I feel like a lot of people have been acting like hasn't been happening. Like people just complain and then they'd be like, oh, blah, 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 blah in history, or like, blah, blah, blah in the world. And it's like, but you don't even really realize that like really these are things, there's so many things that have been happening, and like you're like only further exaggerating it to like for an emotional effect. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think that that's fair. Like I don't think that that's fair to us, because there has to be a point where we actually take action, and we are taking action. In terms of, you know, again, more people realizing, you know, their blessing, more people realizing their blessing and reaching, you know, their highest selves, or at least heading in those directions, getting rid of so much of the evil and the murder and the pain, and you know what I'm saying. You know, because we really don't have to live that way. We can see that people love God. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know, being an artist, I mean, especially for you, I've seen how you've been able to use that when you're performing, and I know there's obviously a difference when you're in the booth versus when you get that microphone and they say it's now your time to shine, you know, and how has performing been for you when you get the chance to really show people live how, you know, Despues does what he does?
People go off. I mean, it depends on what I perform. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, people go off. They'll sing along, you know, they party with me. They definitely moving. They're definitely listening, and I love that. Like I love that. Again, people do like say what you want about somebody's music, right? Like say what you want about whatever, but it's like people are listening and they will try. And also, you know, if they're listening, that means that they're listening. And so yeah, like I appreciate that. I used to get so upset. Like I used to feel like, you know, because earlier on, like with the Despues EP, with like the Maze and Venom and Pride and stuff, And I remember I performed at the Voltage Lounge a couple of times and stuff, for example, and like people would be standing in the crowd and like they've got like their arms crossed and like they're standing there, and they may or may not be bopping their heads, but like standing there like they should be security or something. And you know, we artists, you know, we always talk about that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? But the reality is, it's like, nah, man, like they're listening, you know? Just like everybody else, just like everybody else. And so just make sure that whatever you're saying, whatever you're projecting, whatever you're presenting is fucking dope. You know what I'm saying? And worthy of, you know, being listened to, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I know you said you deleted your Instagram and social media, but where, if people wanted to, where can people find you?
Oh no, I just loaded my Instagram back up.
Oh, okay.
Like right before Thanksgiving. That's at Firstborn Shit on Instagram, and I think it's the same on Twitter too, at Firstborn Shit. Yeah, and yeah, man, just moving forward. You know, like I said, just running up my catalog. You know what I mean? Like I've lost so much stuff throughout all of this time. I don't think you guys understand. You know, I've been homeless since I was 19. You know, and like, so I've really been growing and growing and growing, you know, through that, as well as the other decisions that I've been making, because I have been staying focused. You know what I'm saying? I have been staying determined. Like I said, regardless of everything, I've never been able to be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna get a job and like blah blah blah, because it hasn't worked for me. Like it just hasn't worked. Not that I wouldn't, because I love to work. I actually, you know, I understand the value of putting my hands to the plow. You know what I'm saying? Like. But it's like, it's been such a difficult road for me. And yeah, so like I said, growing through that, building my catalog, you know what I'm saying, back up and stuff like that. Seeing where I am now creatively and stuff like that. How is like, you know, LA or whatever influencing me? How are the people out there influencing me? How is just generally my experiences in life, you know, influencing me? What do I have to say at this moment that I feel is important? And like I said, man, like really what I feel is important is that, yeah, we've been dealing with this PC shit for way too long. And it's really, I mean, it's already been looking bad, but it looks like people are finally starting to like get a little bit of a grip. But man, like it's crazy. Like it's crazy how it looks out here in this world, man. But you know, I think now more than ever, men and masculinity or whatever, like kind of need like an encouragement of like, you know, like, yeah, it's okay. And I feel like the ladies see that too. I've been seeing a lot of that too. The ladies have really been like saying that in terms of like men need love, you know what I'm saying? Like they've been saying that these days. So there's been more appreciation. So like I said, that's you know, so for you know, that's why Relevant's coming out first, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, bro, just, you know, stay tuned, because I got so much fire coming, man. So much fire coming.